Good evening, everyone. I'm going to go in order of the agenda tonight because we have a huge agenda, but I just want to kind of know who's here, just so that if we can maybe help get people out of here faster, it'd be easier. So what's your name and agenda item? K? JJ. Gubitz, okay. V, okay. Sir, here in the front. Archer. Archer, M, okay. Are you, one more time? Oh, EA Repairs USA? Okay, okay. Back there in the back, sir. D, D. Perez. Okay. Ma'am. Do you know the number by any chance? A, you said A? Okay. Aioli? Sir? Okay. Sir? Yambi? Okay. All right, that's good. That's Commissioner Kennedy. Okay. So if not a lot of people show up at the last minute, I'll try and go and take care of everybody so everybody can go home. But we have a huge agenda tonight. So
All right, good evening.
and I
Good
need more
evening.
board members. Ed's on there.
And we're for Scarlett and David. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting. Today is June 13th. We ask that when the chairman calls your address, your item, you'll step up to the podium, speak into the mic. If you have any questions as far as what's the next steps, you can pull me to a side, and I'll give you the next steps for your permit application. Thank you.
Hello. The name? Alter? So what's that name again? Halter? Oh, there it is. Old Business G. Okay.
You can grab an agenda if you're just now coming in, please.
Launer?
The discussion item.
Okay. Hi. Are you on the agenda tonight? Okay. Board? Oh, there you go. Okay.
If you're just now coming in, you can pick up an agenda here to your right.
Charlotte, how you doing? Let me know when you're ready and we'll get started. You're on the agenda for tonight? Oh, there you go. You're good. Just let me know when you're set up and we'll get started.
I left the USB port.
Okay. I have this. Team up with Manny. I have another one. I have the one you gave. I think it's yours. Maybe Manny will share with you. Or Dave. No, not. Angelos. Is it a discussion? It's on the agenda.
Again, if you're just now coming in, we have updated agendas to your right on the table.
Angelos.
What's the address?
What's the address on it, sir? Let's go by 7-4.
Oh, it's the first one, old business, it's the fence.
Fence. Okay, you're the actually first person. You ready?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
All right. Did anybody come in that I didn't get checked in? Did you come in? Are you checked in? You checked in? Okay, all right. All right, good evening, everyone. This is the Village of Biscayne Park Planning Board meeting for Monday, June 13th, 2022. It is now 6:33. Do the roll call. Edward Leyva,
Present. Present.
Carla Hammonds.
Here.
Manny Espinoza. David Gruen. Paige Hartig, I'm here, as well as SB.
Here.
From the building department. Hello. All right, so we have a really big agenda, so I'm gonna try and we're gonna have to go in order, but a good thing is a lot of everybody that's here is at the beginning of the meeting. So I'll try and as we go down to push people up so we can get everybody on their way. So, it'll get a little crazy if I start jumping around. So we do have an addition to the agenda. I'm gonna make it BB under building permits would be Laudner, 645 Northeast 114th Street for a driveway. If the board can add that. Okay, but I made it BB, so
Okay.
at the bottom instead of the top. Okay, so we'll come back to the minutes. So first will be old business A, Sam Pendinas, 741 Northeast 111th Street for a fence. You can go to the,
Step up to the podium and speak into the mic, please.
Good afternoon.
hello. So this was tabled last time. I don't have the Dropbox. So why did we? Here it is. Okay, so we tabled it the last time because of the materials on the facing the street need to be of the same material.
Yes, sir. Correct. Yes. It was one side, it was with the concrete and the other side was with the wood. And you told me that I need to change the design and to have both sides with the same
Yes.
material.
So you're doing a masonry wall on both sides and a wood gate
Yes, sir.
as part of it. So it's gonna be the same on both sides.
Yeah, both sides are the same.
They're 6 feet high. They're not in front of the structure. They're at the front corner. And then you're going along the side wall, 6 feet all the way down to the
Correct,
back
sir.
corner.
Yeah,
Correct.
on the back of the house, yes.
Any questions on the board?
Yeah, I do, Gage. On the drawing, two things. The drawing, it has under the scope description, it still said new Dura fence, which is a metal.
Was a mistake.
Okay, so that's not applicable. Okay, the other thing is on the side property line, I'm not sure if it's what orientation it is. It looks like that might have been in your previous application wood, and now you're making it masonry the whole side. Okay, I just want to be clear that that wouldn't, I don't think that's something the board would ask you to do or cares. We care about what faces the street. So for you to make 145 foot of fence in masonry instead of wood, I would imagine is much more expensive, much more, laborious. So
So I can do on the back of the house like normal.
the side, yeah, is not so much our concern. It was the fact that you had facing the street, two different on the
Correct.
sides. So I don't know if Gage, if he can
Yeah,
amend
no,
that.
I mean, I thought the same thing. I was like, that's a very expensive wall.
Yeah, and I think it was a misunderstanding of what we were asking him last
Yeah, I
time.
mean,
so.
I didn't know, so I can, on the back of the house, which is me and my neighbor, where
Yes.
is the wooden right now? And nobody can see that because it's like on the backyard. I can do like a normal wall.
You can do wood fence there, which is, I
Okay.
think, what you had in the previous
Yes,
application.
correct. It was a
Yeah.
wood, yeah. So that's
Okay.
much better.
Make a motion to approve as amended with wood fence on the, not sure what side that is. but Side property line.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Ed, and then David. All right, so you're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, next will be a building, old business B, EAA Repairs USA, Inc., 971 Northeast 107th Street, revision to permit for overhang.
Hello, good evening.
Hello. So this was.
We approved it previously. Are you just adding additional soffit area?
And you're just repairing the stucco to wait to the, what it is now currently, what it is previously?
Excuse me, I don't listen to.
You're just repairing it. You're not changing the design.
No, I understand.
Okay.
It's a repair for stucco.
Initially, it was a small part of the house. Now they want to do.
Yeah, I'd imagine they probably started to do repairs and found more area that was rotten or just extended.
Okay.
Also stucco is actually. So this is.
Yeah, this is for the soffit.
Just the fascia and then C is. stucco.
But I think the stucco is the wall. That's referring to the wall, C. The overhang itself is stucco, I believe, this house. If you look at the picture. They're stucco fascia.
Yeah, I think it's really should be one application because it's a metal lathe and plaster soffit is what they're repairing.
Yeah.
The reason is initially they had two separate applications for two different parts of the house.
Motion
This
to
is a revision to an existing permit, the first one, B.
So motion to approve?
BNC?
Yeah, motion to approve B and. C. Can we do that?
Okay, let's just do B right now. So- All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then the next one is the same, EAA Repairs USA. Hold on, I have to sign them all. Revision stucco for stucco repair. So this is just, you're just repairing the stucco walls, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I have a motion from David and second from, was it Ed?
Manny,
All in favor,
Manny.
say aye. Aye. Motion carries. You're good, ma'am. Thank you. Next will be Did anybody from Witchner come in? No? Lopez? No? Silva? Nope. Okay, so next will be Halter, 11555 Griffin Boulevard, revisions to permit deck outside kitchen.
Good evening.
So the revision exactly is the kitchen? Or was the permit previously is for the deck? So you're just adding the little kitchen area?
Correct.
It's just a little 36-inch like countertop, isn't it? S3, SS3. Okay, but it's like set right back on the, against the deck. I mean, you're 35 from the side, way
Yes.
28 from the rear. And it's just a little
Correct.
thing, right? Okay. Yeah, there's no setback issues, no
No.
lot coverage issues. So
It's one question, is the grill just a propane tank or are you gonna have it hard piped with gas? Separate. Got it. Second, Scarlett's motion?
that's Scarlett, then Ed.
Scarlett and Ed, yes.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. You're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
The folks that just came in here, your name? Agnar? Agador, okay. Okay. Further down. All right, so I'm just trying to help everybody. Zoller, Old Business H, 11851 Griffin Boulevard, metal roof. Business H. Yeah, yes, sir. I think this has been denied a couple times, correct?
Yeah, 2 times. We changed the color. You guys approved the last meeting, but your question about the overhang, the soft, and
Yes.
the fascia detail. That is something that we're not gonna replace anything, everything in the existing structure not gonna be modified. We're just replacing the roofing to new metal roof. On the edge, we're gonna replace the drip edge, and whatever we find, like the fascia is rocked, we're gonna replace it. But no structural modification at all.
Okay, so this is the one that's got, it's all the landscaping around it, right? That we've been in front of us a couple
Yeah, they
times?
have a bunch of trees right now on top of we had to clean up that.
Okay.
The existing tiles, I believe. And they have a flat area.
So the issue
The
in the
issue is-
previous two, yeah, is not that whether you plan to modify the overhangs, it's that in our code to get approval for a metal roof,
Yes.
there are minimum overhang requirements
Okay,
and minimum soffit dimension requirements. So what we've been asking for in the previous is to provide that information as part of the application.
Yes.
So until we have that, we can't approve the metal roof. We need to
We
know
have,
the dimension.
I sent to you, I give you the detailed structure from the manufacturer of how we do. And the existing house does not have overhang.
That's the problem. So
So
therefore,
we have to build a new one?
correct.
Yeah, so,
That's our code.
so
Okay.
these are just like product approval, like, you know, details and
Yeah, the
such.
details manufacturer, we
Yeah.
will be replaced as is, not, didn't know we had to do that.
Yeah, so you must provide a, I think it's a 312, correct?
Yeah.
You have to provide an 18-inch overhang and a 6-inch fascia around the perimeter.
Gotcha.
So that's what we denied it for, as,
Yeah, but the
supposed to
color
finish.
didn't specify that. That's why I didn't know. I didn't come and prepare.
Yeah, it said dimensions on the minutes of our last minutes, our meeting. Last, couple minutes meetings, actually. Yeah, so all of the April 18th, the May 16th that was in front of us, they all said overhang dimensions. And fascia, that's the color, the fascia and the overhangs.
Yeah, the color, I believe you approved the new one. That the
We haven't
homeowner
approved anything yet, but I mean, that's,
actually, yeah.
was this not a Murphy roof at some point? Was Dennis Murphy doing this, or was this always your company?
It's always our customer. We didn't
Okay.
change it. I don't know if they tried to pull before and
Okay.
the guy come up.
So the issue is the overhang, and,
So that doesn't matter. If we're gonna cost a lot of money for a homeowner to do it, the condition of the roof is not.
yeah, that's just the way our code is written. Our code is written is that on certain type of houses, not on certain type, on all houses with metal roofs, they should have overhangs of at least a certain dimension.
Okay.
And that's the way, when they wrote the code, that's the way it was determined. And unfortunately, if you want a metal roof, you have to modify your roof to accommodate that. We've had residents that have done it many times. So we're just,
Let the homeowner know.
Make a
Thank you.
motion to deny in the meantime.
say aye, aye. Thank you, sir.
Yes, yes. The next meeting is June 27th. The deadline is next Tuesday, June 21st. We are closed for the observed holiday.
Thank you, sir. All right, next will be building permits A, Maoli, 680 Northeast 118th Street for a fence.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening. All right, wood fence. Yes. All right, so it looks like you're starting at the front corners, going back and then going all the way around the perimeter. Okay, I mean, it's 6-foot high wood fence. And you will need to put a stain on it, either a clear stain or some kind of finish.
Planning on it. We're planning on it. A clear
Sorry?
stain. We're planning on putting a clear stain on it.
What type of metal, wood fence is it? Is a board on board picket?
I forget the exact,
Shadow box?
I forget the exact name, but it's the panels that go side by side.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Any questions on the board?
Motion to approve.
David Manny, all in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries. Very good, thanks.
Perfect.
Thanks for coming in. Next will be Building B, Beyond 703 Northeast 117th Street for windows and doors.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Okay, you're doing bronze windows with clear glass. They're all horizontal rollers. And across the front, they're horizontal rollers, and you're keeping the garage door as is, looks like. That's correct? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Ed and Scarlett, all fair say aye. Aye.
Aye.
You're good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
She's gonna, SB will take a little while to process everything, and then she's going to call you.
This is windows and doors?
Yeah.
It goes to structure.
Okay, is Grun J here? Oh, okay, so then we'll come back to that. Then Building D, Batant, 801 Northeast 118th Street for addition.
Yeah, I was.
So you'll go last?
Just gonna do it.
No, I'm representing the owner.
Right, you're representing the resident, okay. If you'd like, you can come over to the table here. Board members, if you'd like to come. Sorry, we have to let everybody hear.
Okay,
It's, you know.
so what is the shaded in gray? In gray, everything is the existing construction, but this is the living area, this is a carport, and this is the garage. So what we're going to do is to convert this carport area into a living space. And this area that is empty right now, we're gonna square off the building, adding this as a living area. And the garage, because we're taking this part, we're converting this portion of the garage into the living area, then we are coming this way. to the This is also an extension to this part, and this is a new cover area. This is something that is not part of this proposal right now, but just for an idea what their owners are, because they don't have like direction, so.
They're very tight.
Yeah, the back here. So we're following here the 10 feet setbacks and 10 feet, and in here this is the.
Are you the architect? Or?
Yes.
Okay, so just, we have a 30-foot setback, because this is the street. So it's actually 30, 30, 10, 10. So there's an issue with this encroachment into the front side setbacks.
Okay, so I don't know, some point.
We don't have 15 anywhere in the park.
All right. Here, so we have to this line. So
Yeah.
this is-
Yeah. The covered part. I mean, anything, you're allowed to have a patio, you're allowed to do anything at grade.
Yes.
The pool, you would have to ask for a variance, because a pool is an accessory structure, and
Yes.
it also has a 30-foot setback. So we have in the past allowed, there are people that have been able to get variances on corner lots.
Yes.
I'm not saying you can get it, it's up to the village commission to do it,
course, yes.
but it's something that it has happened before. But now this encroachment into the side setback, that's.
Okay,
not-
so let me ask you something. Is there some type of structure that like that could be considered as a accessory structure? That could be encroached into the 30?
Nothing that is actually a structure, like pergola is a structure.
Yes.
So it can't, the post of the pergola can't extend into
Okay.
it can't be into the setback.
This has to be modified.
Yeah. They could have an open terrace that has no roof on it, but a roof.
And what about the awning? Also?
Again, it would have to be cantilevered or something that would go into the.
That there's not an actual.
There's not an
post.
actual post
Okay.
in the setback.
All right.
So, and the other thing I was wondering is, I couldn't see them. You have a lot coverage. So you have a 50% maximum lot coverage. So I don't know
Yeah, well, when we did the outline, we were taking all the areas. So this is how for example, we are including the actual the area on the impervious area. So when we did this, was based on the all the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, like, so that one.
Remember that we're taking this area and I'm considering all this, so I have to now remove that portion.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is this is 1190.
Yeah, all this, you see, in the green area, we divided into the pervious and impervious. So when you add all this, it is a total of 60%, including.
Total lot coverage, basically 50% total lot coverage, pervious and impervious. So if you have pavers or something,
Exactly.
it's still covering your lot. So you have to stay within your 50. If you're saying your calculations came out to that, then we have to trust you that that's what the calculations are.
Yeah,
But
so-
by visualizing it, looking at it, you're kind of like, well, it's something else.
Listen, I was in the same position. That's why I actually said including the pool area because
You want to make sure, you know,
yeah,
well, you want to make sure that if they do decide to put a pool in, you're not at your 50%,
exactly,
because then you're running out of it.
exactly.
So, but as for right now, I mean, you have a setback issue here.
Okay,
Looks like you are providing for your lot coverage.
yes.
Any questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
No, this is the front, as far as from the address, like this. The front.
Yes, yes.
Sorry.
So this is the porch.
You can have the patio, yeah, but you can't, but like, then you start going into, like, if you build it height, it has a handrail, then you don't have a fence. So you have to keep it at a low grade, so you don't have the 30 inches.
No, we don't.
Can't go over 30 inches.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
But
But if it's
the
low at grade,
transition from the house.
but as long as you don't have a handrail here,
Yeah. No, no, we're fine.
then it starts going into becoming a structure. Well, I know for the last.
Yes, it was here since May.
So let me just quickly just put a comment. Hold on. Yeah. You the owner? Oh, hi. How are you? I'm sorry, I was addressing you like you weren't here. Okay, thank you.
100%. And if he had voted, my vote wouldn't be the same as everyone else. It's okay, there's 2 more items on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah. That railroad track. Which I think she's like one part of the code. Right.
This is the other one.
It's about an agenda item.
All right, so let's go ahead and, again, trying to keep everybody that's here. Is anybody Roots? Okay. We got 826 Northeast 121st Street renovation. And 826 Northeast 121st Street temporary construction. Roots. This one? Yeah, you can move it. You know, actually, yeah, let's just table it. On Batant, can I get a motion to table? And so so it's, now we don't have to move it to another thing. The one we just looked at.
Second.
Ed, okay, all fair, say aye.
Aye.
We just tabled it. Okay, good evening, sir. All right, so we do have plans here, but before we get into the plans, these are the plans that were submitted years ago, because I've been on the board a little bit, and I remember they came in front of us. Is there anybody from the village, or was there any type of report from the village? Okay, so the question is that, you're looking to put a 4 units into that building, that structure, correct? According to the plans that I reviewed? Okay. Okay. So right now you have an existing structure, but was built in the 30s, I think, and it's pretty dilapidated. It's pretty, I mean, I think there's a tree inside of it, and yeah, it's boarded up. I think it's, so the structure is actually inside of Zone B, which is a single family residential zone. Okay. And you're looking to put a 4-unit, to convert it back into a 4-unit building. We need to have a study done on it, or a judgment by our building official, because from appearances, it appears that the structure is over 50% deteriorated, which means that it cannot be returned to a 4-unit structure. It would have to be brought into our current code of single family. In order to move forward, I believe the next step would be our building inspector taking a look at it. I think that they already have looked at it once and determined a demolition order, or maybe even demolition recommendation on it. But we need to get, because you're asking for something that's not allowed in our code, which is a 4-unit unit in a single family residential area. So at this point, we can't move forward until we find out whether or not that structure is more than 50% deteriorated. And this is what actually happened however many years ago. It was the exact same thing. They were supposed to pursue it with the village as far as where, you know, somebody, our building official needs to make the decision on where the status of that building is. And I don't know if they've been inside of it, if they've allowed been access to it. But as far as right now, we can't move forward on these plans. Any questions on the board?
No, I would just note that the non-conformance is not only the 4 units, but the 5-foot setbacks on the side as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying the single family, but then there is lot size, there's setbacks, I mean, there's a whole caveat of other things that need to be addressed too. And the main one is the single family home issue. So the next step would really be, what is the status of the structure? Where are you on, where is the structure? For I understand it's kind of dilapidated on the inside. There's nothing really on the inside. And that there actually is a physical tree growing in the middle of the structure. The garage, I understand, has collapsed onto itself, from what I've heard. I have not witnessed it. I've not been in any documentation. It's just something that I've heard. But even the garage, you know, maximum lot coverage, you know, it's a 6,300 square foot lot. It's one of the tiniest lots in the village. So it has a maximum, you know, half of that is basically the maximum lot coverage under our current code. So, so, I mean, I don't even know if you would be even able to even convert the entire thing into a single family home and make it single family. Because of the fact of the lot coverage, the setbacks and things of those sorts. It is an existing structure. We do have latitude on existing non-conforming properties, but if it's not under 50% deteriorated. So, any other questions on the board?
No, I just want to be clear what we're asking. So we're asking the applicant to return or telling the applicant that they need to wait until our building department has made a determination about the state of disrepair.
I don't know who else would be the person that would make that determination. I would have to be our building official.
Okay. Do you receive a request for that access yet, or?
I don't know. I'd have to check with the structural engineer and the owner. I do know that these plans were approved. My understanding is they were approved in 2019, 2020, pre-pandemic. But because of COVID, the owner was unfortunately not able to act on that. So these are the same plans that were previously approved, to my knowledge.
I am pretty certain that we did not approve those plans because it was the same issue and you know, we could look at the records to make sure and double check that, but I'm pretty sure that they were not approved. I know that they came in front of us and yeah, there's nothing signed as far as these plans being approved previously. So like Ed said, we would need to have our building official make an appointment to go by and look at it and then make the decision on what the structure is prior to us going forward, I guess. Charlotte, anything on that? Okay. But at this point, yeah, at this point, I think I would take a motion to table. I mean, I don't know if we want to go as far as denying it based on the fact that we don't know
No,
structure.
I would make a motion to table until this report has been prepared by our building official.
Okay.
I would just ask, one of the issues is there are violations at the property, and we'd really like to repair those violations, but without approved plans, we're unable to do that. So how do we effectively repair violations, stop the bleeding at the property, if you will, regarding any violations, ongoing violations, new violations and the like? We really won't be able to address those concerns without having the plans approved or something approved to address those issues. Unless there's an understanding by the village that because we're not allowed to move forward, we can't be fined for continued violations. We've asked for a fence permit as well. We'd really appreciate that fence permit today, even if we can't move forward with the plans, to be able to secure the property and clean up inside the property and the like. We'd at least like to move forward with that.
Okay. Well, we can't approve a temporary construction fence until we get a building permit approved. So unfortunately, that's, that's clear in our code, is that you must have an active building permit to get a construction fence. I understand your reasoning. I also kind of sit here and think about the fact that it's been sitting there for 20 years and now all of a sudden it's, it seems like it's a little bit of a rush. Hearing what I had, what you just said, I think what we would need to do is actually take a motion to deny it because of the fact that it is a 4-unit. You're requesting 4 units in a structure in a single family zone. And then at that point, we can deny it. And then that way we don't have to worry about getting involved with the fine issue because we've made our decision. And then the village, then they're welcome to reapply once the determination of the 50% is done. Thoughts on that?
Deny it though, then how easy is it for them to go and get that done by the building?
Well, I think our building official is here every week.
Gave a unsafe structure 2 weeks ago.
So did you declared it an unsafe structure 2 weeks ago? Okay. So it's not even safe right now.
Our preference, to the extent it's relevant, would be just to table it, to the extent that it would be more burdensome administratively for us to reapply it again. I don't know what the reality would be for tabling versus denial, but it just sounds like tabling would be a bit easier for the owner to come back.
Yeah, the problem is we're not the code compliance people, so we're not the people that could argue like, oh, until from when he asks for the building inspector until the time the building inspector goes, like all of the fines are waived or anything. That's not our board.
And I'm not asking that here. I'm just conveying the reality, which is there are fines on the property and we'd like to remedy those as quickly as possible, but we can't do so without approved plans.
Well, I think at this point,
You can submit plans for demolition of the existing structure. And we could approve those in theory, and that would stop your violations in theory.
Well, yes, but we're not asking to demo the structure. We're
so,
asking
so
to-
then I would recommend that you actually go to our next code and compliance board meeting, because they're the ones that you would appeal to do something about stopping the fines.
We're on the agenda
Okay,
for that.
so if they
hearing as
see that
well.
you are engaging our building official, you're engaging the planning board, then maybe they might consider halting the accumulation of fines, but that would be something for that board to take care of. For now, we will take the motion to table, and we're all good with that. Okay. David and Ed, all in favor, say aye. Aye. So we're just going to table both permits. And hopefully by next time, we will have you can contact our building official. You can arrange for her to gain access to the structure. She can take a look at it and then make our decision. But just, you might want to, consider your alternatives too. Like, just think about it, because it's from what I just read of the unsafe structure letter that she provided. It seems like it's partially falling down. So anyway, that's not up to us. So, on favor say aye. Aye. Okay, so
Thank you.
thank you, sir. Again, to try and move things along. Anybody from Lopez? Andino? Rosales? How about Gubets? Gubets, sorry if I butchered your name. 951 Northeast 119th Street, after the fact fence. Hi, good evening. All right, so this is the application says aluminum fence, see pictures, so, but this is for in the front on the gate, it's a gate on the driveway, correct? Does this include the, I noticed there was a pathway, what is this? Okay. Oh, that's what we need to know right there. Just give me 1 second, please, I'm sorry. He left. Just to read into record, we have actually a note from our building officials as working exceeds 50% of building area and the work involves substantial structural alteration. With that next meeting, okay. But she can communicate that to him also. Okay, so fence on the driveway.
Evening.
Good evening. So as you know, we don't allow fences in the front yard, in front of the front face of the structure. And the gate is a fence, and it looks like you did it without a permit, correct? So I was going to mention, I noticed you did a pathway gate also?
That
There's-
was always there. since the
That,
beginning.
in the same exact style as the gate that's movable, it's actually,
That path has always been part of.
but the gate that's there, that looks just like the driveway gate that's been there already? Okay. All right, and then it looks like there was gates done on each side of the front of the house too. On each, each side of the front, yes.
We
Okay,
just-
so you changed
we
those
just
two.
repaired the old ones, put those.
That's, all right, so let's just deal with the driveway. So as of right now, we don't allow gates in the front of the property. Any questions on the board?
No, we're only reviewing the driveway gate then.
Yeah, that's what
Other
we're
gates
applied
done
for right
without a
here.
permit, that'd be a separate after the fact permit.
So what's that?
The other gates on the side of the house were done without a permit, that would be a separate after the fact permit issue. Not a-
Yeah, so that was, I was bringing them up is that, the gates, we do allow pathway gates, but you need a permit. We do allow gates on the side of the house, but you need a permit. I do believe you have a pool, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so fences with pools cannot be climbable. You can't climb over them for children to climb over and go into
They
your,
aren't.
so, and even though they're horizontal slats, they're not climbable.
No.
There's no way of getting up,
No,
okay?
no scaling.
Okay, but right now we're just dealing with the driveway gate.
The driveway.
So, any questions on the board? If not, do you have any comments or questions?
I don't know if we're gonna be applying for a variance.
Okay. All right, so, so it is your right to do a variance. We have a 4 points.
We
That
filled it out and sent it in, yeah.
Okay, I don't have it in front of us, so, and it's not on our agenda for a variance request. Right now, we just have the driveway gate.
In any case, part of the variance process would be an initial denial, which more than likely they'll receive this evening, so.
Yes. So unless there's any questions, I'll take a motion.
Motion to deny.
Second.
Okay, David, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, so for the driveway gate, the motion to deny was approved. So the application for the variance, you must meet the 4 points. You must meet all 4 points. The planning board gives recommendations and it's up to the village commission to actually make the decision. We just give them our advice. I would suggest that you apply for the for the gates on each side of the back and for the walkway gate, even though you say it's there. It looks just like the other one, so it makes them think that it's new. But those could be on a separate permit, and if they're not climbable and they're fine, then there shouldn't be any problem with those. So, but as of for right now, the driveway gate is denied.
Okay.
Any other comment?
So I know.
That's it?
No,
Nope. So the variance comes to us, we make a recommendation to the commission, and it's the village commission that makes the determination of whether to grant the variance, yes.
I
And the gate on front of the cars. Because I took permits. If you check the record, I always take permits for everything I do. I had arrangements with contract with the gate company. Obviously, it was a misunderstanding. He was supposed to take the permit. I paid him for it. So, and I went away for 2 weeks and I came back, it was on.
Mhm.
Now, the reason why we put it on, because 2 o'clock in the morning, our Jaguar, they took off the emblem right inside the driveway. And then the corner of my house, 3 weeks ago, all 4 tires, brand new tires, they took off. So I got worried. I said, you know, I gotta protect my cars. So I have that beautiful fence, but I thought he took a permit.
Mhm.
So now I found out that town doesn't allow to put drivers in the car, so I have to go for a variance. But first I tried, I didn't know about a variance. I wanted to change the code. I
Mhm.
wanted to go for the code, so I contacted, I sent out letters, just 100, to people, they're asking their opinion. I got back around 85% said they should have an option. Doesn't mean we're gonna put a fence in front of our cars, but at least we should have an option. So then I spoke to the gentleman here. He said you have to go for variance. Okay, let me try to go for variance. Instead of going around to the whole town of Biscayne, 3,000 people, house by house, and get it, because it could be done. But but everybody had the same opinion. But mine, I'm worried right now for certain things, and we security on my property. And I feel like it is a code 50 years ago. Still, 80% of my property is hedges. You know, it looks beautiful. Anybody could pass by. That's 951 Northeast 109. Anybody would say, "Oh, it doesn't look pretty." Get me some people to say that.
Yeah.
So basically, and as far as variance, I have to try to get a variance.
Yeah.
See if I could. Maybe I won't. But I'll try. What could I do? But basically, I sometimes leave a week here, a week there, and I'm really nervous to leave her alone. A property that people show up 1:30 in the morning, steal off stuff from the cars.
Okay.
So I feel it's just a legitimate. I'm not asking for something that.
I mean, you do realize it's a fundamental change within our village to allow gates on on the houses. So, and then there is a way of petitioning your elected official to make changes and to do it. The fencing code was, I guess, revisited in the mid 2015s. And at that time, through community workshops, multiple workshops, the village determined that they did not want to have gates in the front, so they did not include that language. And actually it was, within the last 10 years, the village asserted the fact that we want to remain an open neighborhood. But that's besides the fact. You are welcome to apply for a variance. Unfortunately, we had to deny it as it is right now.
I'm not not asking for a gate in front of the house. The house is 50 feet. I'm only asking for 20 feet. I'm
Mhm.
not asking, so that's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
I understand you have told about gate. Put a gate. I'm just asking 20 feet.
Yeah.
And it goes in back of my head. You don't see it. You pass by, you don't see it. Goes back on my head, and it's open over there. I'm only asking for 9 o'clock at night, 6 in the morning. The person buttons, closes, 7 in the morning, automatically it opens up. That's all I'm
Yeah.
asking.
So then, sir, then this argument that you're making, you're welcome to use this argument to come back in front of us to try to get our recommendation and also the commission's recommendation.
Thank you very much.
But you do have to meet the 4 points, and I'd encourage you to really read the 4 points and and address those. Security, unfortunately, is not one of those 4 points.
What would be one of the 4 points?
You haven't read them yet?
I read it, but
Okay.
what would be a prerequisite to fill in for the 4 points?
Well, you answer the questions. If there's
I
special
did.
circumstances, then the variance is necessary for the preservation of
Right?
substantial property rights, substantial, how would you argue and I don't want to get into it because this application's not in front of me and I don't have the reading. But I'm just saying you do have you have to meet the 4-point variance. And what you were just saying about wanting to leave, I would say bring that back with your application and then bring it forward to the village commission.
Okay.
I just want to say that I'm sympathetic to your concerns and comments. Just understand our hands are tied here, right?
I see that.
It's in the code. We don't have the latitude to change the code at this board. So it's a black and white matter for us. Correct. The code clearly says you cannot have a drive gate in front of your driveway. So, I also will say that I think if you do feel you have broad village support, bring it to the commission and voice that. I mean, that's all you can do. And
Submit a petition to the commission,
so I support that effort. I'm sympathetic. It's just, we have no choice in that.
All right, thank you. All right, next will go to building, K, Alvord, 1007 Northeast 113th Street, new roof metal. All right, sir. So I believe SB contacted you regarding this. We need, you're planning on doing it light gray, which I don't think that's an issue. Do you have documentation on your overhangs and fascia?
There's only 3 feet of fascia they're replacing. And the overhangs, they're repairing them with there's no design change.
Okay, so for a 312 pitched roof, you have to provide an 18-inch overhang around the perimeter of the house with a 6-inch fascia. Do you have that?
My
Okay.
contractor submitted.
Okay, so that's the requirement, I do not see any details on overhangs. But does your house currently have 18 inches around the perimeter? Because that would be, I don't see any detail on overhangs. Board members, anybody see Doc?
Not in the package, no. Okay, I just want to say for the record, for probably the 10th time,
I know.
I do not know why we cannot provide one simple piece of paper in the building department office that any roof application for metal roofs needs to be filled out, because I'm sick and tired of denying applications that may or may not be, acceptable, because no one knows they need to provide the overhang, the fascia, and the color. It could be, I'll make the sheet. and give it to SB.
If you're willing to make the
Because-
case, then great, because I've
It's in the
well,
code.
it's in our code, sir. I mean, if your building official or your builder reads our code, it's very clear. It's not like it's hidden or something. It actually says metal roof, you need to have this, this, and this. But it needs to be, somebody needs to look at it.
That in the permit application, if he's aware of that, then he'll
No,
do
the
it.
the problem is we as a board need that information to determine the approval or not. So without it, we just can't, right? If it's not, if that information is not available, we don't have a choice. Right? But again,
And just to be on the record, I've spoken to our manager about it and
but I bring it
it
up.
kind of got like run around of
Bring it up to you. 'Cause
who's gonna do it.
Someone needs to make this sheet. We have it for driveways, for fences, we already have a package for roofing, right? There is a package you have to fill out. Add the sheet. I mean, especially roofing, because people are getting letters from the insurers saying that if they don't replace their roof by X date, they won't get homeowners insurance. And we're having people like the gentleman that was here earlier come to 3 hearings in a row because he doesn't simply know that we're just asking him for the dimension of the
That was a
overhang.
roofing,
It needs to be added to the package.
I think that was a roofer change on that one, by the way. It originally was Murphy Roofs, so this was a
No,
different.
I think Murphy's a different property that has the same issue. He's the one that came.
Oh, it's the same one with all the landscaping on the top of it. So anyway, but you're correct and it's a very simple thing of even just making a copy of the code and highlighting it and saying you must, if you have a 312, you have to have 18 inches. If you have above 412, I think it's 12 inches. So but at this point, I don't see overhang details on this drawing. I did have SB reach out to them prior to the meeting to try and provide it. I don't think this was an understanding of, this looks like an overhang for the porches, not the fascia around the perimeter.
Because you're gonna end up coming back. Your home, correct? Your property. Do you know, not that we can approve based on what you tell me, but I don't want you to waste your time coming back next time and being denied. Do you have 18-inch overhangs on the full? No, but do you have overhang? Some homes have no overhang. You have overhangs on, and it's on all 4 sides. No, I understand. I unfortunately need it. What I don't want you to do is come back in 2 weeks and because you might not have 18 inches. there's
Yes.
Drawing in the package.
It has to be documented. So if you want to do it that way, you can. If you want to have it on the plan, draw the dimensions of it, that's how you can do it too. 18 inches out of 312.
Those are the 2 measurements. You have to.
Motion yet? David, second? Who's the second? Charlotte, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, Eastman, 1009 Northeast 118th Street for a driveway.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you? I'm good. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so do we have lot calculations? I mean, it's turf block, correct? You want to do
Turf block, from, if you see that drawing on the
Your survey
plans,
here.
the turf block is, I believe, the pink. I
Okay.
remember I've got it labeled.
How wide is this, sir? I don't see a dimension on it. Hold on. It says wide is that garage on the back?
Yeah, the garage is
It's about
18 and a half feet. It's, the carport.
Okay, so this is an 18 and a half feet wide.
Mhm.
Okay, and then
And then we're pouring concrete along the 11-foot side of the house before we start the turf block.
Say that one more time. Where's the concrete going? Is it a border around the turf block or, I'm sorry?
No, no. Do you see, I think
That orange bit.
Orange.
Oh, the one that's a different color. It's like a darker, so it's like a pad that's in the back here.
No, no.
Okay. So it's basically behind the front corner of the house. You're just doing a little. And the carport already has a concrete pad underneath, it looks like, yeah. So basically, your setback is 35 feet. So from the 35 feet to the property line, and then the rest of it out to the street is all gonna be turf block.
correct.
And you're gonna do gravel or rocks inside of it?
We're after the substrate of required, sand and lime rock
Okay.
and turf block. We probably will put dirt.
And then like let grass grow inside of it? Okay.
Exactly. That's our property.
So you're gonna put grass in between it, right? Okay. All right, so the finished product will be grass or. Okay, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Carries.
So do you need so I had some information on the permit application that wasn't there when I handed in. I have it now. The name of the particular company who's doing the concrete and turf block and the estimated cost.
That would be SB and part of the permit, so you'll just submit it to her.
I can just submit that to you in an email.
Um, Yeah,
I can even hand you a sheet with it.
the information on
It's
it.
an application.
And I'm just making sure I note on here that grass will be the final product in between the
In the turf block, yeah.
turf block, yeah. Because if it was gonna be gravel or something, you'd have to submit gravel samples. But because then you go into the gravel portion of our driveway code. But grass, fine. Okay, do you have anything else? You're good. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Sir?
sir. Next will be Archer, 1025 Northeast 120th Street, new pool deck and spa. Surveys, he's written on the survey. If you look at the thing on the right, where the tab is at, that's the survey. Oh, okay, well, then that's,
Affidavit and then bring it in.
oh, Judy, how are you? Good to see you, but we've already done roofs. if that's why you're- And we tabled it for information on the 50%. That's why you're here listening. All right, sir, how are you?
Good, how are you?
This
everybody
is
doing?
for a driveway, correct?
Cool.
Pool, sorry, pool and spa deck. Okay, 15 foot to the rear, 15 feet to the side, and then you're clear away on the other side. Your lot coverage is, you're at 68% and 37%, 63% non-covered. Okay. Any questions on the board?
No. The drainage field's existing?
The drainage field,
Your septic,
oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, not
A drain
your
field?
actual septic piping, or is that a
septic-
walkway?
septic
That's off to
field.
the right, actually.
Yes,
So this is like a hardscape little, these ribbons.
yeah, it's
okay.
it's a patio, or deck, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
David and Ed, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we only have a few left here. I'm gonna just, Scott, Brune, would you wait till the end? Is that cool? Okay. Savitskia? Nope. Cruz, Merca Center, okay. 11121 Northeast 9th Court, Wood Deck.
Gage, he mentioned that, English may be challenging, so Manny maybe could interpret if needed.
Okay, let's see what he has, and then it might be very easy.
I don't think it's gonna.
Wood deck around above ground pool. The-
Yeah.
Is the pool existing? Or-
No, it's the plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic pool, you know?
Ahora,
Oh, sí, sí, yo la compré en Walmart. $300.
not, doesn't meet setbacks yet.
Yeah, we got
Told
some
you it's gonna
setback
get
issues.
complicated.
You did? Okay.
Well, It's
So-
above, if it's above ground, I mean, maybe he can adjust the position and bring it into conformance and then build his deck.
Yeah, I mean, if it's above ground, it could be movable, yeah.
Yeah.
Manny, are you? You speak Spanish? You speak Spanish, right?
I understand what did you say, but I had some picture to show you what I want to do, no?
Yeah, the problem is your pool is too close to your property line. Code does not allow the pool to be where it needs to be. Move away from the property.
But if the pool's not permanent, above ground deck pool that's movable,
But
is it
now he's
allowed
putting,
to be
but now
in
he's
that?
putting a permanent deck around it.
But if he put a permanent deck, let's say a permanent deck that was 10 by 10 inset, so it was on the side.
What he say? What he-
The thing is, he's asking for the deck even between the pool and the fence, so the deck is.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Deck is in the set,
right
right now, the deck, let's forget the pool, the deck that he's asking for is in the setback.
But if the
It would not be approved.
deck went from like, let's say 12 to 3 o'clock around like. the pool,
Yeah, Dave's saying if the pool's above ground and it's not a permanent pool, can it stay where it is? Then just the deck itself be removed from the setback encroachment.
But above ground pools are, they are permanent above ground pools.
That was
It's
the
not a
question.
blow up pool, is
That
it?
was the question,
Yeah,
is
my
it,
question is it a pool that can be moved? And if it's a pool that can be moved, then that's not.
True. Unless it was, taken, the plumbing undone, all that kind of stuff and moved over. But if it's sitting on a concrete pad, it's, but your point being is if he did the deck around the other side.
Mira, necesito por ya, mira, mira, move it around, then it's okay to be this far, pero it's supposed to be 10 y 10. Yeah. Otherwise, you need to build a deck. So. Sí, Pero so it's like if this pool it has the ability to move and you want it, then try and do a deck that is. But if the inspector comes and sees it and says, hey, this is like a permanent. Possiblemente un problema.
Por eso el deck tiene que ser separado.
Yeah, yes. like, mira, señor, 9.93. So a pool needs to be, derecha más o menos. But what I was saying is if the inspector shows up and says, oh, it's temporary enough, it's movable, then it doesn't have the issue, but the deck, the wood, muy importante, it has to be, yes, yes. So you could do aquí, like más o menos 12, maybe 4. Yeah. Yeah. So if you want it, but the inspector is going to come and look to see this pool. So I don't want you to try and start there. Yeah, I don't want you to start and then have a bigger problem.
No, it's cool because I start to do it, and when you need permit, what for this? Yes, I said,
Claro.
okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mira, un pregunta. ¿Tiene otro pump, the electric, or it's attached?
No, it's not.
Like, can it move around, or is it on concrete?
Because it's what you said, you know, I pay 700 for this. I pay 600 for the
For the-
so
For the pictures, yeah.
yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
The project is more expensive to do this because I want
Than
to
the
make
pool.
it nice, you know. No, I want to put the day because I want to put maybe 2 chairs to sit down, you know, because
Claro.
you can sit down here because you know it's strong. Aluminum, you can sit down, you're breaking everything.
Claro. Yeah, so.
And
Wait,
this
hold on,
pool,
but
and
you
this
just
pool,
you paid 700 for the pool?
Yeah.
yeah, this is
Yeah,
what
it's
the-
a, so you just
what
put
the
the whole
Walmart.
number. Yeah,
This is
it's like a-
Walmart pool, the plastic.
So if you, but
You
the
really
problem
want
is,
Push it back.
well, the
10 and
problem,
10.
the problem is if he just makes the pool 10 and 10, he doesn't have any room for the deck. So the
Everything.
pool- The pool has to go in more, or you put the deck on,
Okay,
on
put deck in this side.
Yeah,
Okay, I did it.
yeah.
But I don't know. I need to talk to my wife.
Todo-
I am not the
todo-
owner. The owner
todo-
is my wife.
Yeah, todo esposos necesitan. So,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
yeah, so possiblemente you make like stairs on the other side going
Yes.
up to it or something.
Yeah. I
Whatever
think
she wants, she gets.
Okay, but I don't do it the deck from here. Okay.
Yes.
I understand.
Wow.
Okay. All the next step.
So
made the
that-
making plan for this side.
Yeah, we can table it, right?
Yeah, no, we could, yeah, and that's fine. We could motion to table.
Okay, so when you motion the table, you necesita new drawings and new plans, whatever the wife wants, if it's 10 and 10, then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the pool is very young.
And then, you know,
1 year to come back.
no, so tranquilo, tropical.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Lo siento, yo hablar como un payaso. So, lo siento.
All right, I have a motion to table from Dave, on. Okay, Manny and Dave.
Yeah, second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we're tabling this. Thanks for explaining that. All right, Aguilera, 11237 Northeast Eighth Avenue for paint. And then also for stucco.
Just painting it, repainting it white.
Yeah, I'm just, while we're doing stucco work, just to make it look, nice, because it's kind of, there's issues with the actual, walls and stuff, so just doing stucco work to fix all that, and then painting over it.
Yeah, but right now it's very close to being white. if
Yeah, it's
not
pretty
white.
close to white, yeah.
Yeah, so-
It's like an off-whitish kind of color.
so motion to approve.
So this is for the Simply White
Yeah.
paint, and then the. Okay. Charlie, I'll put, favor say aye.
Aye.
So that's for
Thank
the
you.
paint.
David. Sorry also for all of you guys that have been here for an hour and a half. That's pretty.
And you're painting the roof, this wrought iron color, you said?
Yeah, it's
Is
like
it just
a
the gray
like a
that's there?
gray. Yeah, it's on your list of colors.
Okay. And then the next one for you is stucco?
Yeah.
You're just doing a stucco repair?
Yeah, pretty much just making the walls look nice.
Okay, so they're just flat, or are they gonna have a little texture to
No,
them?
flat.
Motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Dave, Manny, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for waiting. Okay, we have two residents here. So nobody's Piera? No? Okay, Silverman? Okay, Silverman, 11401 Northeast 8th Avenue. Windows and doors. Place sliding at exterior of house. Windows, so it's, why does it say siding? Replace siding at exterior of house, replace 3 exterior doors, and replace 2 windows.
Yeah, they're repairing the wood siding as well.
Oh, okay,
Part of the application.
but it's gonna look the same, correct?
It's gonna look a lot better than it is right
I mean, but it's, you're not, it's,
now. No,
It has.
you're
it has
you're
siding
taking it
currently.
all down and putting new siding up?
we're putting up party board.
Okay.
Based on the diagram, you're only replacing a few windows and doors, I think in the rear, it looks like.
We're replacing a front door and 2 in the rear.
Okay, so the other windows, are they already impact or you're just not
They
doing
are
them
not.
yet?
It's not yet.
Nothing new in the front except for the front door. So you won't have one new window in the front and 3
That
old
is
windows in the front.
Where's the siding being replaced at? That's what's catching my attention is,
All around the entire perimeter based on the
Yeah,
diagram.
the side, we're replacing the full siding.
11401.
Right ahead.
Yeah,
It's
Okay.
currently wood siding and it's deteriorating.
okay,
It needs to be replaced.
all right. Just it doesn't, I have a application really for window permits, not stucco or the hardy board.
Yeah, but the application says,
Part of,
the actual permit application filled out by the applicant says repair siding, so whether it got
Yeah.
processed that way is
I
not.
don't have any product approval of the siding or anything like that, so as long as it's a repair to like, that's fine, I'm okay with it. Did I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve. Just so you know, you'll have to come back for, I'm assuming you're gonna paint the siding once you're done replacing the entire.
Well, the siding.
It's a
would be-
pre-finished
the siding
product.
Would be. product,
Okay, is it a white refinished
Kind
product?
of like a light gray with a white trim.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All fair say aye, aye. Okay. You're good, sir, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, and Gage, just to bring you some ease, that he does have the specs for the siding listed on his drawing here.
Right they are,
Hardy plank, H210, 516,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. The gentleman back there, right? Or you guys? No, Perez, 11818 Northeast 7th Avenue, pool discussion, correct? Which one? Letter I?
Why?
Why?
Fence application.
Okay. You were here all this time?
Yeah.
So let's, if you don't mind, sir, thanks. Pentana, 11728 Northeast 6th Avenue for a fence.
You step up to the podium, please, and speak into the mic.
Just part of your, you had a pool application previously, correct? That got approved. So this is just the fence for the pool. I think that David, that's David's bugaboo.
Is the rest of the fences 5 feet?
Yeah, it would be all 5 feet. I understood. Very short.
Yeah.
I understood that we cannot have the fence in the front of the house. So my boyfriend came the previous meeting, and so he was explained that we could have a fence on the side, and the setback from the property line was basically in proportion to the height of the fence. So I picked a 5 feet, and I guess whatever that is, the 5 feet from the property line. And then we discovered that the front of the house is facing northeast 6th Avenue, but the side is the one on 118th. So I would basically have a fence the way I drew it, which I'm not an architect, but hopefully it's clear enough. And it would also protect the pool sides.
Yeah, so if the way it's drawn here, you're starting on the 6th Avenue side, I'm just gonna start, you're lining up, if it's you're doing a 5-foot high fence, lateral wood fence, which means that's fine, but you can only have 1/2-inch gaps. Especially with a pool, well, actually with a pool, you can't have any gaps. Because that's. Okay, so you're gonna start on to the left of your front of your house, you're going straight across.
correct.
That's fine. From the other front, you're gonna go out, but you can at 5 feet, you can't be, you have to stay back 5 feet from the
Correct.
property line,
Correct.
5 feet setback.
the question would be where.
Well, I have the survey here, but.
You'd have to have a
you
surveyor
determined where
come out
your
and.
Property line is, that's, you have a survey that shows that the property line is actually here. It's 23 feet from the front corner of the house.
Okay, so we'll count that.
So you go out from the corner towards 118th Street, 23 feet, and then you step
5
back
feet.
5 feet.
Gotcha.
And that'll tell you exactly where it's at.
Perfect.
And then you're gonna run that all the way across, and then you're
Yeah.
just gonna run across the middle, which,
Cor-
that's
correct.
fine. There's no
And I
issue
have
there.
a door here just so we can actually hold the
Fine.
door here.
And I believe with the code, you have to have a self-closing latch because there's
Yeah.
a pool.
Correct.
But that's the best way to do it, would be just 23.35 minus 5. And that's
Okay.
gonna tell you exactly where it's at. Okay, you good on that?
You may actually be able to find little pins in the ground too that mark the property line. Sometimes surveyors will actually mark it, so. Yeah, you'll just see the head of it, but it'll be an iron post that's in the ground, but you'll see a little nickel
The thing is,
size.
The survey's got a dimension on it, so,
Yeah, I understood.
okay, motion please.
Motion to approve?
David. Annie, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Tell your boyfriend that he didn't seem nervous at all last time.
He was fine. He did fine, thank you. All right, Mr. Perez, how are you? Okay, do we have anything? Oh, that's it.
So this is,
We're back to discussion A, Perez, 11818 Northeast 7th Avenue. Good evening, sir. Okay.
good evening. I was just trying to figure out, I have a corner lot. Before I start designing anything, I wanted to know my limitations.
Okay.
Um,
You want to put a pool in?
Yeah, I want to put
Okay.
a pool in.
Okay.
I want to do a lot of things, but that's the one thing I want to do. I want to put in, well, I'm doing windows as well, but I need to put a deck because I'm trying to put a sliding glass door on the side of my property. So I have to design a deck and a pool. So I just wanted to know, like, what I can do in terms of, I know 50%. I can only do 50% in terms of the deck plus the pool. I did a driveway last year, so
Yeah. What do you mean 50%? You mean your total lot coverage is 50%?
lot
Yeah,
coverage.
okay.
Yeah.
Your driveway's impervious?
Yeah, it's the concrete. It has the
Okay.
lines in it with the rock.
Yeah, we
So-
approved it. It was,
I did the calculations on impervious space calculation.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I did it correct, but I think I have it there.
Yeah, you have 1,005 room.
1,005, yeah. So I just wanted to know, does that include my patio that I have there was already there? Does that include that?
Lot coverage question?
Uh,
Are you talking about for the lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't include that.
So right now you have an 8,250 square foot lot. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And so okay, so you have so the pool issue, if you wanted to talk about the pool, you're on a corner lot. You face your front door is on 7th, your side front is on 119th.
Yeah.
We have had many people come before and ask for variances for pools, in-ground pools. I'm not saying you're gonna get it, but we've had it happen before, and it's a very good argument for people that have no backyard, and you have no backyard. You literally have a little, what is that, 10 feet roughly
Yeah.
in the back. So the way forward for you to do your pool would be a variance request. You'd have to do an application and apply for it. It would go through the entire process with the village commission. You'd have to make the 4 points, to try and also work with us like you're doing here. This is the perfect thing, is come in and talk to us and we can help guide you through this process. Now, so the pool thing and the deck, so you might as well make the pool and the deck together.
And I also have to put a fence up as well. So
Right.
that's
The
another
fence, you're
thing.
allowed to put a fence over there. You just have to set it, the maximum you can get is 3 feet to the side property line. So you do have the ability to fence in this side part of your house.
Can I show you some?
Sure. The front corner of the house, the actual corner of the house. Is this deck, this is an open deck, right? Yeah, no, it would be, it's. Okay, so. Okay, so the code is written that it's to the front corner of the house, okay? But we also have in our code a thing called a bump out on the corners, okay? Which means you're allowed on one side of your house to bring it out 15 feet. So you actually technically could, from that corner, come out 15 feet and you would still be 23 feet away from the front property line, which is plenty. So you could actually come out 15, go across, and then go back across. So like here's the front corner, okay? You have an ability to do a bump out, which is a maximum of 15 feet here. And then you can go this way, and then you can go this way, like that. And then what it is this is your side here. So it's 3 feet at 4 feet, it's 5 feet at 5 feet, and it's 7 feet at 6 feet, okay? So if you wanted to go 3 feet, you could put 4 feet all the way around, which meets the county pool code, or state pool code, I think it is. And then if you wanted to go 5, you'd have to come back a little bit. You'd have to come back a little bit, come back a little bit. You follow me? Okay. The pool, you'd have to go for variance. So technically you have a path forward and within our code for the fence. Pool, you have to get a variance. Now talking about lot coverage. Now, let's talk about that. So.
I recommend doing a deck like out of real wood. Then, or like synthetic deposit. The deck would still count as pervious. Because then you can save your 1,000.
But it's not pervious impervious, it's lot covered. It's total lot covered. Yeah. Yeah. But where are you right now? I'm trying to look at your calculations here. So you have 4125 to go to. What's 3111? Is that your house? Is that the square footage of the house? House plus the driveway? Okay. So then you only have 1,000 feet roughly? That's a lot actually. For a pool and for a deck, that's a good size amount of space. Yeah. No, I think you're, I mean,
I was just gonna say, because if we approve that driveway gauge, it doesn't meet the 30 inch from the side property line. So I have a feeling the survey is probably
yeah, this is
outdated.
the old survey. Here, this is. But when did you purchase the home? Oh, so your survey is 3 years old, so I don't think you need to get a new survey. You had to have it surveyed at that time. So you would just draw on here the exact location of the new driveway. I kind of remember what you did. You just kind of went out with the pavers and everything. Oh, you kind of went over in front a little bit still. But that's fine, as long as you, as long as you stay within 4125 with everything, that's what you get to play with. But you know,
Recommend that he applies for the variance board.
he can have the fence either way. You know, within the thing I just told you, you're allowed to apply for the fence that way.
You could also get the permit and then not.
I mean, you have a 30-foot, pretty much you're almost at 30 foot on the side. So I would recommend, you know, that you apply for the most conservative pool possible so that you're not, you know, hey, I'm gonna go try it for some huge, you know, try and convince the commission that, you know, that there's you're being conservative. So anyway, you have any other questions for us?
No, that's it. I got all my answers.
Okay.
So thank
Yeah,
you
and
so
please
much.
come back and talk to us. Normally, we don't have an agenda this huge, so you could get spoken to a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
But,
thank
you know, please come and,
Engage, he doesn't need full-blown pool drawings, right? Because I wouldn't want him to engage a pool company to do a
no. I would,
Father, get your variance first based on the location and size and, you know, limited information, then hire a pool company to do pool drawings.
yeah. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to maybe have a pool company give advice.
Maybe just do a
Don't
site
invest
plan.
in anything.
Yeah, maybe they can just do a simple site plan locating the pool, but not, you know, doing all the plumbing for that.
Don't invest in the drawings and everything.
Gage, one other point of clarification, that the point that Dave was trying to make about the wood deck, right? Because we have had applicants in the past that were right on that 50% lot coverage borderline, and we had the caveat that a wood deck would not count towards that, which is, I think, what Dave was getting at a few minutes ago. Now I understand we're trying to get away from this pervious impervious definition because it's not, you know,
It's not the way it's
not
said.
the way,
It
but
doesn't say
we
that.
have kind of viewed wood decks as,
There's 50% maximum lot cover. So, are you talking about the house that they had that pool and they were.
I'm
right-
thinking of a couple, but I'm thinking particular of the he's been here for multiple
Yeah,
applications, the
they-
gate in
they
the
had that
front.
Little area, they wanted to put a wood deck. So,
Yeah.
but I thought they were still within their 50%. It was the roof that they wanted. They wanted to put a roof over that or something. So, but
That was also at some point, yes, whether they roofed over it or not, I recall, yes, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
See where you're
Like
at.
we're
Like,
still covered.
if I just saw what I did, you're still like 1,000 feet. Play with. That's a lot. You know, 10 by 20 pool is, you know. that. Thank you, sir. All right. I see somebody else came in, but we have Laudner here. You've been waiting patiently? Huh? Oh, okay. Oh, for the windows and doors. Oh, I see. Okay. You want to do the driveway first. Okay. So BB Laudner, 645 Northeast 114th Street for driveway. Oh,
There's an item in Dropbox that doesn't have.
Yeah, do you have it in your Dropbox in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Because I don't have the actual file for the driveway in front of me.
Right.
So if I looked at it previously, if I remember correctly, it's a pretty straightforward driveway. Lot coverage was fine.
Yep.
Setbacks from the side, everything, it's concrete.
It's a concrete driveway. They're doing the design where it's kind of broken up so they can put grass or gravel or something in between
Okay.
the gaps. Lot coverage excuse me, the impervious lot coverage is well under the 40%. 17% on the front yard and 27 in the swale.
Okay, So,
The walkway they're removing as part of the scope.
so they're within their 40% front setback and, not front setback, front yard and right away.
Correct. And they're
And it goes out to the street.
away from, yeah, they have an approach and they're not.
I think it was like 30 feet from the street, so it's way up on the property. If I remember correctly. Matt?
It was onto the property 20 feet.
All right, so if you guys want to make a motion, we can do that, and then when she brings me the file, I'll sign it. But if you guys are, think it's all right?
Yeah, motion to approve.
David?
Second.
Ed, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, so we're good on the driveway. And now we have lot number 2 with windows and doors, 645 Northeast 114th Street.
I didn't know if you wanted to handle, I think, somebody stepped in, I didn't know if it was for a permit. I didn't know if you want to go ahead. and
Let's
take that.
just,
Well, not.
let's just
they're
take care of it.
Already up the podium.
All right, so I believe this was tabled because of the windows didn't match in the front, correct?
That's correct. I think there's 4 windows in the front. 2 of them are horizontal rollers and 2 of them are single hung.
So, but I saw a note saying something that you thought it was the windows in the rear? No, but it's the windows number, there's one
I think it was
horizontal
as
roller.
2 and 12, I think was the number of the windows.
So I think what you're talking about,
So it's
Gage, is
12,
an email
13.
saying, hey, we're just replacing like for like to get a lot. The issue is that when new applications come before us on the front elevation, we request either they're all horizontal rollers or they're also but they're consistent rather than this mix. So we understand you're just replacing what's already there in your view, but we requested the
Yeah, and that's one thing, dealing with the window company, they're going straight off the Miami-Dade County code. So there's been an issue with them already having ordered some of the windows. We've spoken to them about the fact that here at Biscayne Park, we do have this process where we typically require there to be a uniformity to the windows. I couldn't identify anything that I can provide to them. I didn't know if there was anything that I can get from y'all to provide directly to the window company to let them know that, hey, we're going to need these windows replaced. We just, and put that on them basically.
Well, I mean, that would be just the fact that they did it without a permit. I mean, if they're a construction company, why are they ordering windows without permits?
Well,
That's the onus is that is on them for,
their
Get
argument
my
was.
soapbox out right now.
Huh?
Can I get my soapbox from my car? 'Cause
yeah,
I'm-
no, believe me, I got it. I know windows take a long time. I'm in the business.
Yeah, because I know their argument was that they strictly went off Miami-Dade County code, and Miami-Dade County code, that would be acceptable. I wasn't able to identify anything in the code specifically that addressed the uniformity of the windows.
It's under the harmony. It's basically, we use the harmony part of the code.
Yeah, and I think
So-
it's one of those things where I mean, it's just me being on my soapbox a little bit. It probably would be something good for the commission to address, to have a little bit more of that laid out so that when residents come up and do these projects, they have a clear understanding, because I can see the confusion that can come up when somebody looks and says, okay, they have to have a Miami-Dade County NOA and such. But
We usually catch them before, as they apply for the permit.
The
No.
other thing I want to ask, I got the recommendation that we received was about replacing what's currently set up as being 2 horizontal rollers. Those windows being replaced with, it's a large window, 2 single hung and then 2 single hung to match the 2 single hung that are currently basically in the middle of the house out of the 4. What I wanted to find out is, could we switch that because of the cost to the homeowners? Could we switch that to where the two windows in the middle of the house out of the four that are currently single hung, can we change those to horizontal rollers to match the bigger windows?
Or casement usually, because usually single hungs are too small to make horizontal rollers, so a casement is kind of the equivalent.
Yeah,
consistent,
they're close to kind of what we have when we put in impact windows at our property. There's a couple windows where they're definitely, you can't use them for egress, that's for sure. But if we can, we'd like to try to switch those two.
Can you just
interior
replace,
windows.
can you read that suggestion? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Out of the four windows on the house, instead of changing the two that currently horizontal rollers, if we could actually change the ones that are currently single hung, if we could change those to horizontal roller windows. Because the cost to the homeowners, basically going the route of the initial suggestion would require them to purchase 5 additional windows.
And you'd have to put probably structure in between the two.
Yeah, and
That's not the.
yeah,
we
and
just have
this,
consistency, so it can be all horizontal roller.
all
single
horizontal
hung.
roller, because that way it's only 2 windows that would have to be purchased
Yeah,
that
there's
time.
no need to make them all single hung.
Yeah, so if we can do that, but I know the recommendation that they received from the village was about replacing the horizontal rollers with single hung. I didn't think it
Yeah,
was
it-
going to be an issue, but I figured,
I think it was either or, as long as they all matched.
okay,
I wasn't here the last meeting, but I imagine that would be probably what you said is either change it to horizontal or change it to single hung. But it looks like the windows that are the single hung, they're only 30 inches wide, the openings. So those might be the actual easier ones to change to a casement. You might even be able
Yeah,
to.
casement, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
It's just big enough to be a horizontal roller if they wanted, but
Yeah.
casement.
I mean,
could
if they have
also
the
work.
option to do a casement.
Either one, from our point of view, if they're a mixture of horizontal roller and casement, we
Yeah.
view as being consistent with
yeah.
aesthetic language, right? So that's fine.
Yeah, that'd be perfect if we could do that.
All right,
The first point, is there anything they feel and right?
are you saying you want like something from
Yeah,
us?
there was something that we could, because they're being difficult. It's really on them. They're the ones who basically made the mistake of
They
ordering
jumped
the
the
windows
gun.
before permit was issued. But I also understand, because we're doing an impact door at our house, and yeah, there's a big turnaround time for some of these impacts. They kind of drag on. So I think they jumped the gun. They definitely jumped the gun. So if there's something that we could possibly get so that we can.
Yeah, I could definitely write a note. So I can provide a note. That's no problem.
The other argument that I think quietly making over here is that your window supplier clearly indicated that he only looked at Miami-Dade requirements and did not bother looking at what the zoning code, because every municipality has a zoning code, and the zoning code always has rules that may or may not be more stringent than Miami-Dade or may have other aesthetic concerns.
Well,
If they're telling you, well, we only looked at Miami-Dade.
Well, and I think that's, yeah, and I think that's where also it can kind of be kind of a trip up at times, is that, when we use those broad terms, harmonious, aesthetic.
No, I hear you. That's a second point, which is that when
Yeah,
he does go. and
Not
look at
getting a
zoning,
permit.
what does he have- What do you have to hang your hat on?
Yeah, and because
how
because when you look at other, things that you have to pull permits for, the language is very clear where it kind of lays out. The windows, it's just
Hear
one
you
of those things where,
100%.
yeah,
Again, like the roof, simple addition to the application at
Yeah.
the front desk would solve it.
and what's good is with the village's size, it's always been kind of my idea that when you identify those things, yeah, if there's things that can be easily changed and corrected to make the system better, why not jump on it and do it?
But you're right. I mean, you're right. It just has to say on the application, all windows must be of harmonious. But would that have stopped this situation? Because they would have gone and, bypassed us anyway,
I
Well,
don't know
think
that I would, I
I-
mean, maybe, but they,
Yeah, I think it may have helped because, like, for example, when you go as a resident, you get that initial permit, even though, because my process has always been before the company may be pulling a permit, but as a homeowner, I typically go and, kind of pull the stuff myself as well. Having something on there, at least, he could go with that if they make the mistake and do something like that, that could be a financial burden on the homeowner, he always has that say, hey, listen, it's right here clearly on the permit application. You know, with the windows, they all have to be harmonious, they all have to be, you know,
Yeah, and I would be a bit
No.
more specific than harmonious because that's,
But also, I'm just noticing that this window company's in West Palm too. So they might even know what this theme park is. So, but we would wait to find out. I could provide a note saying, this is the view of the board and this is the code, this is our code that says it. That's fine. And then what we would want, a revised application, is that what it would be?
yeah.
We wait till you hear back from them?
We'll resubmit with identifying those the.
We're here
updated
we're here in
windows.
2 weeks, so we're not,
Okay.
not a big gap or anything. All right.
All right,
we can do
appreciate it.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you. We approved the driveway. 5A. Just, but it was approved by the board. All right, ma'am. Hi, how are you tonight? Your name? Negrete? Okay. Do we have plans for this? This is Building X, Negrete, 11601 Northeast 10th Avenue for addition.
doing addition
Well, the first sentence says demolition of existing.
For this?
Yeah, but I don't, you wouldn't, for an alteration, you wouldn't get a separate demo permit, it's just part of your application.
But I don't think they've applied for anything yet.
Clarifying that alteration like this wouldn't require a demo permit, part of the
It's part
master,
yeah.
part of it. While he's opening that up, are you the homeowner or the?
Yeah.
It's not absolutely germane to your application, but the diagram is showing like 4 cars really, 3 of which are parked not on the driveway. It's just on the drawing.
Okay.
But they wouldn't be allowed to park kind of on the
Yeah. No, hopefully,
grass or.
hopefully,
Since it's not germane to the application, like the architect probably just didn't need to put them there. 'cause
yeah,
maybe
well,
it's
here they
reflection.
love to drive cars. So I don't, this is an addition. I've been living here for 18 years. So my baby now is 16. Of course, he wants to be by himself. So the little one that is now turning 10 wants a room, and it's totally understandable. So hopefully there might be an extra car sometime soon, but I don't think, I don't see 4 cars in the.
Yeah, so I'm just, again, it's not
Hopefully by then they're
necessarily
gonna
what
be
you're not
living in
applying
a-
for a driveway here. It's just
Yeah.
raises eyebrows, so
Yeah,
maybe.
but we've been living in this house. We did an addition when the 10 years old was born, so it was 10 years ago, and we thought that that was it, and now we're planning to extend. Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't need to be there, but they like, why are they there? They look like parking lot. Yeah.
That's when they were born, right?
Elements on the outside.
They want their own space. Any question? I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
Say aye, aye. Okay. The addition is good. You just apply for the driveway. You'll have to get a permit for the
We only do
windows,
that
the
for
roof, all
new
those things. But the general design is been approved. And then now it's got to go through.
I mentioned it earlier with the other applicant.
They have to, advise you what the next step is.
We just, instead of denying it, we said, hey, we'll call this your first review.
Okay, thank you. We're good. Uh-huh. Have a good one. Well, it's gonna be, it has to go through all the other trades, right? It's not ready yet. You're just
It's
getting
not
zoning.
ready. It's gonna
Right
take
now.
about 2 weeks. It's going to structural for pickup tomorrow. That takes 3 to 5 days. After structural, it goes through mechanical, electrical, plumbing. This is an addition, correct? We'll need to go to DERM, to the health department to get an approval for plumbing.
All right. But yeah, you still have more process. You're not ready to start building right now. Okay, Chill's in it. Thank you. Have a great night. You're welcome. All right, but they need to apply for a driveway because they don't have they don't have an approved driveway.
Okay.
So we're requiring them to do that. I have minutes from May 16th, 2022 meeting. Look at it. My one comment, Esty, was,
I'm listening.
it's Alex David is the one that actually did the presentation. Not Giano Fiori.
Okay.
And everything else looked good to me unless somebody else. I'm sorry, remind me who first and second is the Negretti?
I first.
David and then Ed, or?
Me first and Dave.
Okay, Ed David. And I'll take a motion on the minutes whenever y'all are ready.
Motion to approve. David.
Manny, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Minutes passed. All right. Y'all are just hanging out, I know, right? Okay. Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go back up to the top.
I don't know what happened, but I think maybe because of the length of tonight's agenda, we decided to
Yeah.
push it.
It's,
Yes, it was motion to move to the next meeting.
Who made that motion?
hold on. It's not in the agenda that was on the online. So it was on last time's agenda.
Yes, it was posted.
No, it was on the initial agenda.
It was on the initial agenda?
Manny asked for his item to be pushed,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and they were both pushed, which is fine with me as well, but.
It's just the agenda, because we had 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to push it. I won't be at the next hearing. I'll be out of town, so it'll be 2 meetings from now.
If everybody's okay, I mean, I don't mind having a brief discussion about it. I mean, it was on the initial agenda, right? It's on the published agenda, so,
Yes, it was posted.
okay. So let's ask that Bass to just add that back to discussion as C. And that's discussion on 50%. Are you prepared to discuss it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there was a particular agenda item a few hearings ago or a few meetings ago where it came up and there was and it came up again this evening, and there was some discussion about what our code defined as the kind of nature of the 50% rule, right? So there's FEMA, which has to do with bringing the home up to flood elevation, right? And for FEMA, it's based on the cost. It's a cost basis, right? Because we also discussed what is it, 50% of the square footage, 50% of the cost, what's the trigger. So for FEMA, it's a 50% of the cost basis or the value of the structure, not the property. So you exceed that 50, do a renovation or modification that the cost of which exceeds 50% of the value of the structure, then you have to bring the home up to FEMA current regulations, which means elevated now, if necessary. And there's an issue in FBC, or building code, that talks about alteration, your level of alteration is how that code describes it. And in that case, it's 50% based on the square footage. So it's not a valuation, it's just pure square footage. And in that case, if you exceed it, you just need to, there are more stringent codes applied to the structure, to life safety, to ADA, if it's public, et cetera, right? Then in our code, I went to find where do we discuss this 50% rule? So it's only discussed in one particular section, chapter 10, section 10.4.9, improvements to a non-conforming use. And so here it says basically where an improvement being used for non-conforming use comes within the terms of section 3.4.2, which I'll come back to. No structural alteration shall be made except such as required by ordinance, law, or ordered by an authorized officer to assure the safety of the building. And then beyond that, it says nothing in this code shall be construed to prohibit the restoration or repair of a building destroyed or damaged to the extent of not more than 50% of its reasonable value by fire. So here in our code, it's a monetary basis, right? Reasonable value, whatever that means, but that's the way we define it.
By fire, though.
By fire, explosion, act of God, or public enemy, nor the continued use and occupancy of such building after such restoration. Any building damaged to the extent of more than 50% of its reasonable value shall not be restored, but shall be demolished and removed. So again, we contemplate 50% of the monetary value, not the square footage, because this came up in the previous application where I believe we viewed it as a square footage. So that's why.
What was that last part you just read? The 50%,
it's point B under 10.4.9. And the very last sentence of that is any building damaged to the extent of more than 50% of its reasonable value shall not be restored, but shall be demolished and removed.
okay, so then that, if we were to reference the discussion tonight, any building damage to the extent of more than 50%. So is that, and that would have to come from our building official.
Correct.
Like,
We'd have
we
to,
can't make
it would
that
be a
decision.
basis on the value, right? So is it damaged more than
Reasonable value.
50% of the structural? So here's the question though. We don't specify clearly, FEMA specifies that they're talking about the building, not the building plus the property, right? Because that's always gonna be a higher value. We don't really say. Let's just say we default to the structure because that's how FEMA does it.
Well, FEMA's
Talking
more
about-
concerned about rebuilding something.
No, what I agree. What I'm saying is, we say 50% of the value, but the
Not
value
the
of
value,
what?
but
The
I mean-
entire property or just the building itself, the replacement value. I mean, who's determining that value? So that's an open question. But let's say is it the appraised value of the structure, or is it the replacement? So that's what I'm saying. There are open questions about this assessment. right?
that's a really tricky question.
Yeah, and then it also only talks about damage caused by fire, explosion, act of God, or public enemy. It doesn't talk about damage by neglect. Doesn't talk about damage, whatever other types of damage there may be that aren't fire, explosion, or act of God.
What's the 3 point something that you referenced? Hold on.
So, yeah, sorry. So then it kind of, it makes a reference back to 3.42, which technically is another point. Refers to specifically to prohibited non-conforming uses, garage apartments, mobile homes, chicken houses. So it doesn't actually discuss other non-conformances, right? So basically it's saying a non-conforming property that's been destroyed by more than 50% can't be replaced. But in terms of non-conformance, it only discusses use, not density, not lot coverage, non-conformance, not setback. So the 3.4.2 section has to do solely with non-conforming uses. So if I had a chicken pen that I was using and it was destroyed by fire by 55%, I could not replace my chicken pen because it's non-conforming. Or if I had a hostel or a fourplex, as the case would be, right? That's a non-conforming use. But if I had a perfectly conforming use like a single family home, but it had non-conforming setbacks, had non-conforming lot coverage, this doesn't speak to that.
I think it does. I mean, the lawful use of land or improvements existing at the time of the adoption of this code, 1990, I think it was.
Yeah.
Though such uses does not conform to the provisions hereof may be continued. But if discontinued for a period of 6 months, which that building has been discontinued for more than 6 months,
But it's what I'm about uses, not
such
setbacks, not other.
use shall not therefore be reestablished in the future use of land.
Yeah, and it lists the uses is what, so again, it's only.
Where does it list the viewing?
I have to pull the code. I'm looking for my.
You're talking about like the thing of prohibited uses.
Again, there are more than.
But it says right there, and you prohibited uses, number B, any use not consistent with the residential sector regulation. So yes, it does say garage apartment, chicken tents and all that stuff.
Exactly. So those are uses, is
B,
my point.
But this actually gives us, we could have used this tonight and said, sorry,
Well, you can, because tonight was a fourplex, which is a use, which is not allowed. What I'm just saying is it doesn't actually speak to setback nonconformance or other types of nonconformances. It only speaks to use, nonconforming uses. And there are a list of what are nonconforming uses, including a sixplex or a chicken coop or a disco or whatever they are.
yeah, but a setback is a consistent use. Any use not consistent with one residential sector. Our residential sector regulations gives a setback, gives a lot coverage, gives all those things. So
There's also a definition of a nonconforming use, right? Go to our zoning code. What are the conforming uses? Single family home, right? It's not about that's a different aspect of the code.
Dimensional requirement.
Yeah, so a use, non-conforming use only applies to how you're going to use that building. Duplex, triplex, mall, retail, office, whatever. So right now, again, that applicant earlier, it's in the crosshairs because it's a fourplex, which is a type of use, which is not prohibited. So they're not getting off scot-free. I'm just saying right now, the code talks about non-conforming uses. So if I had a single family home that had 80% lot coverage, it burned down only 49%, I'm entitled to put it back same, or actually it burned down 51%.
well, as long as you get it back up within 6 months. And
No, because that's applying to the use, not the setback. Lot coverage.
It's still.
Yeah, I'm keeping it single family.
but it still has to meet with the regulations in sector table A. The regulation table A declares the setback, declares the lot coverage.
Where do you see reference to table A? I see reference to non-conforming uses.
If you look under non-conforming uses, 3.4.1 B,
Yeah, but this refers to 3.4.2 talks about uses.
3.4.2 doesn't say anything about chicken. 3.4.1A does say garage apartment, tourist tent, person, trailers or trailer camps, truck trailers, mobile home, amusement parks, bungalow courts, chicken houses, private or commercial dog kennels, rabbit hutches, nightclubs, beer gardens, houseboats, commercial boat houses, or any use defined as commercial. Or actually, that's a good thing, or any use defined as commercial. But then the next thing is any use not consistent with the residential sector. I'm just gonna look.
Where do you see in 3.4.2 doesn't make reference to table A? It makes reference to non-conforming use discontinued. And that has to do with uses that are not.
3.4.2.
2 is what's get referenced by the section I'm talking about, where it talks about 50%. Does not refer to 3.4.1 or 3.4.2. It only talks about the lawful use of land.
Land or improvements.
Correct.
So the argument could be a fence is an improvement to a piece of land.
My point in my email was that these things probably use clear.
Okay.
And probably less so this argument than the 50% value, because what does that mean? Because if I'm someone in this predicament, I'm gonna debate you on raise value, assess value.
I mean, I've always assumed that it's, if you have 100-yard, if you have a 100-foot fence and 55 feet of it blows over, then you have to bring it back up because more than 50% of that 100-yard fence, 100-foot fence is destroyed.
What if I have really all my
Yeah, exactly.
Then that all has to be brought up because it's all part of it. The entire thing has to be brought up to the
No,
code.
but what,
Oh, my
what
45
Dave's saying is
my
that
45
the
foot
expensive stuff is in the front, so therefore the part that blew over might be more than 50% of the linear footage, but it's not more than 50% of the cost of that fence, is what he's saying. And then what's what our code says, it's 50.
It's not, but I don't look at it as cost. It's the entire,
That's
the
what our
entire
code is. Our
100
code is
the
the.
entire 100-foot of the fence is illegal. And but it's allowed to continue, non-conforming continuing. I don't care if the right side is $1,000 and the left side is $100. The entire thing has to be brought into compliance.
You may not care and you may be of that opinion.
Yeah.
But my point is the code says something different. So if that's something that the commissioners need to address, then they should. It talks about the value, it doesn't talk about percentage, square footage. And again, that is in accordance the same way FEMA. FEMA doesn't look at, are you changing more than 50% of a fence? They're saying, what is the monetary basis? If you exceed 50%, these restrictions kick in. And I think that's the same way this code is written.
So show me again where you're saying the monetary part, because I'm looking at 3.4.
Yeah, well, that's the.
It doesn't
it's
say
intended-
anything about money in there.
No. Because that's talking about non-conforming uses. The only section in our code that talks about this 50% rule, right, is in 10.4.9. Only reference in the entire code to anything about 50%. You can't put that.
Which is in 10.4.9, which is in our design improvement standard. Okay, the right section.
So improvements to a non-conforming use.
So that title right there, improvements to a non-conforming use. So that
Correct.
means
I know, but
improving something that's non-conforming.
I understand, but
Okay.
the point is, when does that kick in?
So it's, yeah, the reference is reasonable value.
Yeah, value. So it's a monetary issue. So for example, this application, I don't recall the address, came here before us. They wanted to demo the property. We didn't want them to demo the property. We told them to keep 50% of the property. Interpret that as a square footage issue. That's what they did. That's what we understood. So that's why I wanted to get clarification, because it's really not that. 50% of the value, which means an applicant that's doing that has to come up with a cost affidavit, because otherwise, how do we evaluate what's 50% of the value?
So this was the property that wanted to put a second story on. And we were questioning whether if not, if you took the roof off and took the floor out, whether or not
That was the
walls would have to all come in within the current.
That was the most recent one that prompted me to kind of look into this, but I'm thinking of the one where they went for a variance because they wanted to demo this derelict property and then put a new home on it. And that lot itself was not 65 or 70, whatever. So we ended up saying, keep 50% of the structure, keep 50% of the structure. We treated it as 50% of the square footage of the building, which I'm saying now is not actually what our code stipulates.
But could it have been the same argument on that same job, or the same thing, saying the reasonable value of what's there? I mean.
No, we could have.
Half of the four
course we
walls
could
that were
have,
up.
but we could have, but I'm saying, then for us to evaluate that as a board and say, does it meet that? You have to present a cost affidavit, right? Otherwise, what am I looking at? You're keeping 50% square footage. It doesn't tell me anything. So it says, what's the value? Bring me something from an engineer saying that what you're keeping is worth 50% of the reasonable value, which then that begs the question, what's the reasonable value?
So like in the one today, if it wasn't a fourplex, it was a single family, saying the building inspector.
Well, but they wouldn't be on us, right? The applicant would have to do that work, hire that third party, that's fine, but, and then also, it only talks about fire, explosion, or act of God, so that applicant wanted to do elective demolition, basically, right? They didn't, that house wasn't fire, an act of God, or explosion, they just wanted to knock it down, and we said 50/50, but again, our code doesn't speak to that elective demolition desire. So anyways, I only brought this up because it came up as a question that night. We didn't know if it was monetary, if it was square footage, if it was FEMA, if it's FBC. I just wanted to.
Moving forward as a board, what are you suggesting that how we address it?
Well, as a single board member, I don't know what reasonable value.
Okay, right. We are required to sometimes make that determination. That if somebody's 100-foot fence, half of it falls down, we have to make the determination, do we need to make them bring the entire fence into conformity or not? Or do we now have to, are you suggesting that we have to ask them to give a linear foot cost analysis? I'm trying to.
I mean, first of all, I'm less
How do we
concerned
move forward
about
as a board?
fences than I am concerned about homes, right? Big buildings, big projects, people want to maintain a non-conforming use, and how do we evaluate that, right?
Yeah.
And if it's 50% of square footage, that's how we're treating it, but that's not strictly what the code says. So if that's what we want to do, then we put it to the commissioners that clarify. I mean, we're clarifying, much more trivial things in the code as far as I'm concerned. This is a pretty significant thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm fine, more than happy to provide.
Um, Okay. Um, Okay, so can you pull that up, Ed? Since it's kind of your baby, you want to take?
Yeah, I'll try to find it. I don't know where it is offhand, but if it's in your minutes, then I can. Yeah. Find it from the-
I mean, I'll pull it up tomorrow too and look at it. I'm just
So
curious.
then, if that.
If that could be the direction that.
Table exists, and
Asking about.
yeah,
you
but
know.
then basically we would say to an applicant, because we're not going to interpret that table on a given property, right? So the applicant would have to provide letter, what's the actual process of someone submitting what the value is?
Sounds like too, at minimum, something could be addressed. Referencing back at. Also reference back. Right now, it's just referencing liability.
Yeah, I mean, this is, the 3.4 is under land use. Really, the sector is really what just established our town and land and how it's laid out. It's just saying that you can, it's telling what you can put on the land.
Yeah, but,
You know.
but the thing, what he's saying is,
But
that the section in under 10 only really should reference 3.4.
Yeah, but look, I grant Gage's argument that, we have wide latitude to say it's the code, right? It's the code, so I don't want to get, you think about, fine, so there is a formula for calculating the reasonable value, great. And an applicant that's in that situation is there, the onus is on them to provide a cost affidavit based on the Miami-Dade County table, showing us that what they're doing does not exceed 50%. Right? I mean, I don't know other way.
Well, actually, if you read the way it's worded, 10.4.9, the reason it references 3.4.2 is it's saying, okay, if you have this structure, and as long as this structure meets the subsection 3.42, you know, comes within the terms of subsection 3.4. That's why it's referencing that. Yeah. I'd like to see what this chart is. I mean, let's see if it makes it clearer. I think what we did tonight was correct and kicking it over to the building official because.
Yeah, no, 100%. This wasn't. this
No,
wasn't-
the way after I read 3.4.2B, and the fact that it says with a period of 6 months, that it can't be, that it cannot be reestablished. So. There were plans that, the same plans they had years and years and years ago. They just kind of updated.
Yeah, again, to be clear, I didn't look into this for that agenda item. This was a month ago this came up. So
Yeah.
it was more just to discuss how we're applying 50% cost square footage.
Yeah. 8.5. The county goes. Okay. Okay. All right, you good, Ed? 100%. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up so we can go home having dinner. Hi, Commissioner, thank you. All right, will be old business D, Witchner, 10917 Northeast 9th Avenue for a roof. Re-roof tiled to metal and flat deck color weather zinc. Hold on. This is the one we tabled before. No overhangs and unclear in the fascia colors tonight. Did we?
Well, it looks like they're basically saying they're going to provide the.
This is the. Oh, this is a different 109. It's not the Griffin Boulevard one. So what do y'all feel about this little note? And
You know,
it's so. Yeah.
in theory, it should be enough for us and the building department should ask for detail, but it may just escape them and then nothing gets done about it. But it's really going to extend it, provide some sort of structural detail of how you're doing so. But I suspect it will just go over their head.
Color they're asking for is what?
Weathered zinc, which also is not.
Kind of a gray. It's gray.
Yeah, the Dropbox is like seafoam greens.
There's an actual. I mean, my only question would be that it's kind of shiny. How shiny is that going to be? This is flat. This is shiny over here. I mean, right next to it is zinc, regular zinc, with no shine to it.
I feel like that we talked about that though with the guy. Where we're like,
Well, was this the
move the
older
color.
gentleman that came in that just wanted to be heard? He wasn't
Yes.
on the agenda.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. But I think that he was like, cool. He was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm fine with that, whatever color works. But I think that they didn't change the stage from
Murphy
that
has a
first conversation.
It says top view. Murphy.
Oh, this is the Murphy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you. 'Cause he came in the other.
Yeah, I know, but I
like-
thought Murphy was the one that was up with all the plants growing out of it. This is This is 109th and 9th. Ah. This is not the house that's right one block north or 1 block north of the, on the corner where they just put a construction fence around it. Yeah. It already has a metal roof on it. And they're putting the addition on it. This is not that 109, 170.
No, the application says re-roof tile to metal.
But the thing is even like, if you look at the site, the plan, that's a gabled roof on the right-hand side of the main roof. Is he planning on putting it there? I say we, I say we,
have these many questions about an application.
we need to have them come in. If I just don't like to try and approve something that it's so questionable. And the shiny weathered zinc roof.
What's our, what are we putting down
been
as a clear comment?
The color is not, code doesn't allow reflected. The reflected overhangs doesn't specify the dimension, just says overhang. 12-inch or 6-inch or.
Yeah, 'cause
here, which he came in to say, point that out and to argue against having to do it.
Well.
Yeah.
I say motion to deny on shiny roof. The color is shiny, and we need more detail on the overhang.
I agree. I make a motion to deny based on non-reflective roofing and the overhang dimensions not defined, just says provide overhang. Doesn't necessarily mean 18 inches.
Second.
Favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Next, Lopez, 10921 Northeast 9th Court, revision to permit driveway. So what are they doing here? It's the same address, isn't it?
No,
Just making
It's right
it,
next door.
he's making it a smaller square.
smaller square. He met up with building official, and he sat with her because when the contractor came in, we denied him. Well, we were going to deny him.
We approved this.
With that, it was denied because this was the first one, the first
Yeah.
calculations. So they came back and they redid it correctly, but the homeowner does not approve. He wasn't aware until he saw what they were doing in his property. So he came and sat with the building official and he wants to make it smaller.
But
It
it's
looks like
smaller
he
now.
wants to
He's
put it all on the right of way.
yeah. Now they're parking entirely. in
Nothing on the,
swales.
there's nothing on the property,
Right, so he wants to extend it here.
but not out here on the property line. No, not, I mean, on the property. But does it mean that they're gonna keep this port that we approved?
Yeah.
Then then it goes over the 50% calculation, doesn't it?
No, Shelley said the calculation.
75 minus, whatever it is, 18 is 36, so that's 3 feet. I mean, I guess So I just want to, why didn't they draw the part that was up on their property?
Because I don't think they're doing that. I think they're gonna park in the swale.
Then I'm saying motion to deny.
Yeah. You can't do that, but I'll give you that. Motion to deny.
Second.
David and Ed, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion denies. David. Because park on the swale, there's no parking on the property. Next would be building F, old business F, Silva 11350 Northeast 8th Court, new pool.
Last time, these folks were just slightly over the lot coverage and they had a lot of paver deck, so.
They recalculated it. Now they're right at it.
Yeah, I mean, they shaved it down to no tolerance, but
It's the one that I saw Google Earth and it looked like there's a pool out there already. Okay, so they brought it down to 50%, which is what we asked them to do.
yeah, do we have the old just to see what they changed? I don't.
I have a calculation here.
No, yeah, I see no, I just wanted to visually see the difference, but they did eliminate a lot of hardscape in the previous application.
Pavers, yeah.
Yeah, in between the existing building and the house, they moved all of it.
Yeah.
Must have been well.
Motion, please.
Motion to approve?
David. Nanny, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. You want to wait until the last minute to do Gruen, or do you want to take care of it now?
Okay, there's two of us.
Okay, but I'm just saying, so, you know, you have no financial interest or anything with number C, right?
I think he plans to recuse for both.
For both? That's what I'm saying. Do you want to,
Yeah, I have usual things already.
okay, so
pulled,
you want to
but
wait?
I'll go hang out outside if you guys want to ask me questions. Do you want me to-
I think they're pretty self-explanatory. But unfortunately,
The only difference is I don't have any that are on my front or on the side that.
but for number C, Gruen J, that's not you, that's your
That's
brother.
my younger, better.
Okay, but you have no, you have no, you're should probably be better safe just recuse yourself.
Yeah, I already filled out the form.
All right.
But yes, I have no financial.
But it just appearance wise, it would be. Can you just walk by this way over here? really quick? I was confused. That's the front of the house, right?
Right, yes. All of
This is all the
was
addition in the back. This is all in the back. Okay,
Yeah, so this side. He wanted to put it here, but.
that's a lot of panels you got going on. Okay.
Yeah, no, but my.
All right, come on, let me sorry. Building C, Gruen J, 735 Northeast 111th Street, solar panels. David, Gruen did recuse himself. He is outside the building, so we can discuss it. They are way in the back. I mean, as much as we don't like the fact that they are facing the street, unfortunately, that's the part of that's where the sun's at. And by state code, you're allowed to have it on the southwest and they did make a good effort. All of them are basically on the back of the house. I think this is a good one. You have any comments on the board? It's in the back. So that back part is the top part is like the addition that was added to the rear, I guess. Because if you look at Google Earth, it does not show, like if you look at the first page, it does not show the addition on the back of his house. That's why I asked about pointing to the front of the house, and it is the part at the very bottom. So there will be a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and panels across the front.
Yeah.
And it's better than the huge amount that's in the back on the front. So I think the days that we used to insist that people have no solar panels on the front are kind of gone behind us a little bit, because it's just practically, it's just with the popularity of solar panels now, we're gonna have to deal with it.
Well, again, like you said, by state law, they're allowed.
Well, but we're still by zoning, we're allowed to dictate the location of them. The state law says that they can be on the south, west, and east side. And we, as a local body, still can say, you know what, we don't want them over here, we don't want them here. But that's the, like, it's funny, like Jonas, Fred, he got his on the front of his house, which is on the north side, which is against actually the state recommendation. But he was able to do that. That's another whole story. But I think this looks good. I mean, they're all in the back. They're not going to be seen much from the street. If y'all are ready, I'll take a motion. Good. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Okay, next is going to be Gruen again. And that is 10920 Northeast 10th Avenue solar panel. So they're paying off here. They're already paying off. Or, I mean, $10 worth, but they're. All right, so this, he's placing all of the solar panels on the back of the house, except for a few that are on the south side. The 5 that are on the south side. So this looks great. Is there any comments? We'll take a motion. All in favor, say aye. 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 Good. They're both approved. David has rejoined the meeting. All right. Lopez, Building G, 890 Northeast 117th Street, re-roof metal. Okay, so this one, I looked it up before. I don't even think, I mean, there's no, I looked, there's no overhang, no fascia. The bronze, there's no color, they have bronze, but they don't have a chip of the bronze. We don't have bronze as a listed color, but we have kind of looked at bronze as a possible brown. So, but unfortunately right now we don't have overhangs or fascia on this. So I'd like to make a motion that we table G, Lopez, H, Andiano, and I, Rosales. Because
50, that's Rosales High.
Yeah.
They provided the color, but not. 890, he provided the dimension. No, he provided the color, the dimension, that the elevation, 155. Below our of the house.
I think they're all 18-inch overhangs. They all need to have 18-inch overhangs.
But they all like.
So again, I'm gonna make a motion that we table building G, or building G, building H, building I, all for color samples and overhang fascias. And that way, because they're all three of them are metal roofs and they're all missing the exact same same thing. I just made it, I mean, if you want to make a motion, all three, we can move them to the, okay.
You're making a lot of motions tonight, Gage.
No, I'm asking you guys to make the motions. I'm suggesting the motion. You guys make the motion.
So motion to table H, I, and A.
No, it's G, H, and I.
GH. You did step out of the room in your defense. GH.
Motion to table G, H, and I.
All in favor, say aye. And Ed, I would love it if you wanted to do that form.
Oh, I'm gonna do it. I already emailed
I would
myself.
totally do it, because it's, you know,
The only question-
I even suggested I would come into the village hall and I would meet with somebody and go over it, and it went plop, you
No,
know.
I already emailed myself an hour ago. I'm doing it tomorrow.
Same thing with the windows.
Windows too, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you for taking the initiative on that. And Manny will get you your thing next week. All right, so all G, H, and I are all tabled for color sample and overhang and fascia dimensions. And they all need to have 18-inch overhangs and 6-inch fascia. All the way around. If not, then there's no reason to come back. Okay, next will be building P, Savitskaya, 11021 Northeast 9.
Do Scott.
Did I jump? Oh, I did go over jump, Scott, I'm sorry. In Scott, 1070 Northeast 120th Street, new pool and deck. New swimming pool, okay. What house is this? It's a corner lot and it's a pool, and the pool. It's got a 30-foot side setback and it's 12'8" along 11th Avenue. I would suggest that you come in and talk to us about this. This is gonna be a variance request. Because it is a corner lot. Technically, the way it's code is that 30-foot setback for the pool, so we'd have to push the pool 30 feet into that backyard, which the house itself only has a, what am I looking at? House itself only looks like it has like a 5-foot setback.
No, about 15. It's a 10-foot setback line. And that.
Oh, what is that dotted line right there? Oh, that's the setback. Oh, I see. The setback, but even still, it's not a 10-foot setback because That's 11th Avenue. It actually should be 30 feet.
This is the second architect tonight who interprets that to me a side setback.
Cool guys. But it is a corner lot.
For the record, I agree
It's the same thing. So they can apply for a variance. Fortunately, we have to deny it for the 30-foot setback.
Promise it's the conflict of definition. Yeah, I mean, this property. It's been cool, make it work.
Yeah, we did that. Remember I said when you walked in, I said we've already taken care of it.
No, no. The stucco after the stucco on Griffin. It was the railing, the unsafe railing, and the contract stucco without getting a permit for it. Railing that was falling apart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the contractor went ahead and did stucco without a permit.
I still will argue.
Is this the duplex?
It's north of Miami.
Yeah.
But no, it does. But I think it jurisdictionally, I think it falls. It's always fallen within North Miami. But anyway, we haven't got to that yet. I didn't know that.
No, we haven't got there yet. It's the last one.
So we need to deny the pool based on the fact that it's within the 30-foot side setback. The house itself doesn't even have a 30-foot side setback. So I'm really curious to know what house this is. I'm not visioning which one it is. Did I get a motion or not, or am I all just kind of sitting around in quiet?
Motion to deny.
Okay. Annie, oh, there's the aye. Yes. Or variance. It's a corner lot. This is a corner lot situation.
For note two, they also could move the pool equipment closer to the fence.
30-foot setback or variant. Okay. Next will be building P Savitskia, 11021 Northeast 9th Court, re-roof flat. Hopefully that's okay. It's just a flat roof. It's just the rear flat. They're using a bitumen raised roof material. I think we're good.
Second.
Annie, Dave. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Cruise 11103 Northeast 9th Avenue, 4 doors. Place 4 doors, 9 doors, 4 doors, 2 impact doors. 1, 2, 3, 4 swinging doors, white, clear. They're fine.
Motion to approve.
David Henning, aye. Aye. Next will be Pierria, 11144 Northeast 8th Court, windows and doors. Place 7 windows and 1 sliding door. Clear glass, white frame, horizontal sliders. Nothing is actually facing the street. They're all on the sides. So I'm cool. What was that? Oh, Scarlett Manning. Curry, 11530 Northeast 8th Avenue for solar panels. This is a flat roof house and they're all, I think it has a little parapet around the perimeter, it looks like. So these are, you're never gonna see them. They're on the roof. They're flat. So, is this the house on 8th Avenue? Oh yeah, this is the one that Toby did on TV. Toby. So it's all flat solar panels.
Motion to approve.
David Scarlett, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Oregon, 12000 Northeast 8th Avenue, shop drawings and windows and doors.
There's a little addition we approved previously, so this is just a door and window permit for that addition, all in the back.
I missed one.
No, you're good, Morgan.
Those one doors, do they look good? White, clear.
Sliding doors. We got one slider, two sliders, and then one. Right, the two sliders are on the right-hand side of the drawing and the swing doors in the back. On like a permit application? Yeah, I guess they're calling one swing door, right? Because then they have six between the sliders.
Yeah, they're showing 7 openings and there's 7 openings. Motion, whatever.
Second.
David.
Mr. Morgan, it's going to structural tomorrow for pickup. It's 3 to 5 business days to come back and then to our building official. He's watching live stream.
Oh,
He emailed
Can you watch these meetings on Zoom?
yeah,
Uh,
you can watch them on YouTube.
on live stream Zoom, but you
Ah,
can participate in.
There was someone on Nextdoor asking, and I didn't think you could anymore.
Well,
can
you,
watch it.
you can watch it, but you
Directed
can't
them.
participate like.
Yeah, but I didn't realize there was a way for them to view remotely.
YouTube TV or whatever, YouTube streaming, whatever.
It was
Um,
David Mann?
Opposite Manny.
Manny David. Next to be building AA Steiner Enterprises, 12100 Griffin Boulevard, after the fact stucco.
Was it not clear based on the first permit application that they were gonna have to repair the stucco? Like, why is this even necessary? I mean, I feel like the first submittal they gave was pretty clear what they were doing, right?
Yeah, there's giant holes.
I mean, just someone dinging them for like, just to harass them.
Yeah, it's just weird. Again, I still don't think we have jurisdiction.
Yeah. Motion to approve in the meantime.
I'll take a motion and second, stucco repair. I think it's already done.
Yeah, like that, one of the pictures has the guy doing the work.
I do have this one here. What is this one? 11660 Northeast 8th Avenue. The last one, yes. Steiner, yes.
So the address, Negrete, that's the addition.
Oh. Oh. okay. No,
Right? 11601 Northeast 10th?
this is Laudner. There's your thing that was missing. So, want me to sign it?
Yeah, because I need to update the address.
Okay, so our next meeting's in 2 weeks, which will be the,
Just to let Gage and SB know, I won't be at the next meeting. I'll be out of town.
I won't be here as well.
Late honey.
well, as long as we're prepared, we usually can.
Yeah, I'll be prepared a week before, but it's, you know.
That, I know. I mean, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna have to come and turn on the Zoom and stuff.
I can do it before when I leave work.
You can only fly to St. Bart's from Puerto Rico or St. Martin.
Somebody else from
I think I can
Only way to
ask.
fly to Chinese Airport. Probably.
Started.
So the
Mario needs to
it's
start it.
It's ran out.
From Puerto Rico to St. Martin, I mean to St. Bart.
It was just, I think it's full. I mean, it just went out like a minute ago. 'Cause
I mean,
that's what was making the beeping noise.
You're on there for like. 30 minutes.
Yes, so board members, I won't be here the next meeting. Yes, I won't be here the next meeting, June 27th, and again for another meeting, July. So if you guys have anything, email me. It still will be the same deadlines, but I just won't be here physically for 2 meetings.
So first of all, SB, great job, huge agenda, amazingly organized. I think you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
But next time, let's try and find a 25
Yeah.
item cutoff and just get 25, and it's got to be pushed on to the next.
Next meeting could be more than 25. That's fine. But after that,
Huh?
Oh, you're going to sing?
Well, thank you.
Oh,
Thank
yes,
you.
bring it back to me, please, for next time.
Yeah, can I get a motion to approve, please? Manny, can I get a second on that? Scarlett, yes. All in favor, say aye. Aye, we're adjourned.
Manny Scarlett.
Thank you.
It is,
Hey, Rach,
let me turn off the live. It is.
oh yeah, part of that.
Let me turn off the mic. I think he's at work. Let me turn off.
How's that?